so I don't forget, which I always do. How about our minutes from August 2nd? Are we okay with those?
I believe so on my end, Dick.
Lee?
All set, thank you.
Okay, I am too, Colleen, so those are approved unanimously. On our septic systems, there's 3 of them. I'm gonna have to wing it a little bit. I sent everybody out a summary. First one is Bob Sheehan at 192 Bachelor Street. That was the system we talked about. That's an extended SAS for, he's got 2 leaching chambers that he wants to install, increase the rock around it to the maximum that the state will allow. Let's see what else. He did ask us that we have to give him actually a local variance to modify the drainage capacity, the loading capacity from 660 to 648. We had to drop it down 12 gallons a day, and he asked that, I think, the last meeting, and we said we'd go along with that. It does require fill and a French permit, and he's got the fill included for the reserved area right next to it. What do we think of this one? This is for a in-law apartment with 1 bedroom and 1 kitchen. So he's jumped it up from 440 to 660, other than dropping it down to 448.
So what did he do? So he just added 4 chambers, Dick?
Two chambers.
2 8-footers?
Yeah, he's got I think he's got 4, and he added 2 more. It's a single trench, and he just stuck 2 more on the end.
Okay. Because the profile shows, it says existing 32 feet.
Those are the 4 that he's got there now. That's for the 3-bedroom house, the 3-bedroom and the kitchen. And then when he adds the extra bedroom and the kitchen, that's where he ends up with the second 2.
Okay. That's fine.
Lee, how are you set for that?
Yeah, I can't see any issue on this.
Okay, I'm just pulling back here to grab his other one, because I since I can't see what I sent you guys, I have to look at the drawing. And so the next one is one of Alan Katowitz's lots, and that's lot 1H. It's the end of Maximilian. It's in the woods back there, and he's got 555 gallons a day as the design versus 4 bedrooms, new system, deep sands, water table is 107 inches. He's got 3 trenches, 350-foot trenches with 12 inches effective sidewall, 2-compartment tank. No, there is fill for this one. No ballast required. No outlet filter, no vents, and there is wetlands. There are wetlands to the northwest. They've been flagged, and he's got 100 feet be more than 100 feet to the wells and to the wetlands. Conservation, since it's new construction, conservation will end up having to sign off on the building permit anyway, so they'll get to see this.
Yeah, actually, Dick, we already approved. He did a notice of intent. We're all set with him.
Okay,
So once he comes with a sign off sheet, we'll sign it automatically on the conservation end.
okay. What will be coming up here, and just as long as you're looking at it, there is a well permit that was put in. In fact, it's the same one that was put in that we rejected. We didn't act on it because it didn't have the septic system design. Well, the well permit doesn't have a well located according to the septic design. So I talked to Bob earlier today, and what he's asking is, if we approve this, and we would approve this one subject to fill and also trench permit, but we would then he's going to ask if Alan Katowitz comes in with a new well permit with Bob's drawing, this drawing attached to it, saying this is the well location, if we would allow Colleen to sign that for us. So when we get to that, just know that that's what that's about. So first on the design, are we okay with that design, Bill and Lee?
Good on my side, Dick.
Yeah, I have no issue on this.
And I am too, Colleen.
Okay.
The third one is, Neil is here, and that's on Frank Hudgick's lot, and that's at 46 North Street, and it is an Elgin system, and it actually has like 600, about 660 gallons a day capacity versus 550 requirement is for four bedrooms. And just trying to flip through what I sent out to you guys has a better explanation. Had I had a printer here, I'd be better than I am. And the issue, there's a couple issues with this, and it's not resolved. The 100 feet to the septic system to wells and wetlands are okay. There is fill, no need for ballast, but their issues actually comes out that using the Elgin system, because it's innovative, requires the reserve to be a traditional system. Now, what's happened with this on this proposal, there's a couple. One is that if you look at this soil is when you look at this lot, this soil's all over the place with rock and I'm not sure about water table, but definitely you can't make any conclusions about how deep that ledge is. And there is no information about these long reserve trenches that are 2 trenches that are 100 footers with, I think, 2 feet of sidewall. Yeah. And so we don't know anything about that northwest end of this property. The other is that our regulation has been for 40 years that the fill for the reserve area has to be put in as part of the original installation. And And our reasoning was that if you've got a reserve area that's, let's say it's 4 feet off the ground, it's air, it's not soil, it's air. And we've said that doesn't exist. It can't be a reserve area. The air isn't a reserve area. There has to be soil to be a reserve area. And this system is the perfect example of going 2 weeks ago of a trench with the reserve in between with all the proper amount of fill. And because it becomes cumbersome to install this because of the water table and looking like it needs a wall, then Neil has come up with a smaller footprint Elgin and not proposing to put it, although the drawing does call for fill for the proposed the reserve area. So the issue is, do you allow this system to go in with just the amount of fill that Neil is proposing? And 2, do you allow the reserve to be, at least say that the reserve is going to be where Neil says it is, not knowing that if you go a foot in the ground or something, you're going to find ledge and you can't use that area anyways. So the argument certainly is an argument that this is not a traditional solution, that Granby's regulation of asking for the fill to be put in, where you put one system in and the reserve doesn't look anything like the system that you're proposing. And when I talked to Neil during the review, Neil's saying, you're saying that the reserve that's there, that's proposed, is what's really going to be there. And when you look out 25 years, 30 years, whatever this system's going to last, who knows what those rules are going to be then? We've seen rules change in the last 30 or 40 years. And in reality, rather than build a big wall, wouldn't someone muck out the existing Elgin and put another Elgin, if they're still using them, right in the same spot, rather than put this ugly wall in the front of the house? So that's the crux of this thing. And when Neil and I kicked this through, we said, maybe what the middle road of this thing is that you do dig a couple more holes to the northeast to make sure there's soil there, and you put in the sand for the reserve short of putting in the wall. So Lee and Bill, you guys kick it around. What are your thoughts with this?
Well, I'd have a lot of thoughts, Dick, but unfortunately I'm recused on this one because Mr. Campagna is involved. So I'm going to be recused, and I'm going to leave for about 30 seconds here. So I'm going to turn it over to Lee, and I'm going to mute myself. So go ahead, Lee.
Okay. I think, from what little I know, that we need to know that we can, in fact, use the reserve area. So digging some more test holes probably is in everyone's best interest, not knowing what tomorrow brings. Because as you pointed out earlier, every single system I can ever think of, the reserve is there from day one. And And, you know, your point is valid. They may remove it, and put it right back where it is if Elgin is still around at that point in time. But in case something else comes along or whatever, no, me on both sides of the proposed system, what's there. I know it's crummy soil, but a couple more holes to be sure that we're not hitting any refusal, I think is in everyone's best interest here.
So
And the reserve right.
and
Go ahead.
would you be, Lee, would you be saying that we do put the short of building that wall, we put as much of the fill as we can that we would be doing if with the reserve, but not build the wall?
That would be my, you know, if I could have my wishes, I think that would be it, because like everything else, the prices are not going to be going down. And so going forward, it may be a few dollars now, but it's going to be quite a few dollars more down the road for sure, no matter what we do. So it's I think now it's the right time to explore and put in as much as we can without a wall.
So Neil, that sounds like what we're gonna say. We need to have a couple more holes dug.
Okay.
And,
Yeah,
and you're gonna have to put the fill that you would need if you were building that reserve, but not put that wall in. So you're not gonna put all the fill.
Right. Okay. And I did do a little bit more calculations, and I could actually, you know, if we have to shrink it obviously by adding more stone, I could, you know, set just 2 70-foot trenches with 3 foot of stone will also give us 593 gallons. So, you know, so even if we go out, you know, to the 100-foot length and we find ledge, we can shrink it up by adding stone. I guess that's my point.
Yeah, but when you do that, you end up having to space the Elgin.
Oh, no. I'm going higher, not wider.
Okay,
I'm going 3 foot of depth instead of 2.
okay,
You know, I'm maintaining the 2 foot width. I'm just
Okay.
putting, so just for instance, from going from 2 feet of stone to 3 feet, I can
Okay.
shrink the trenches by 30 feet. So,
okay. So when I get back, let's dig a couple holes.
okay, sounds
So
good.
Neil, if we go in that direction, is that going to negate any cost savings going higher instead of longer, or is it pretty much the same?
Well, it's really
Math.
when you do the reserve, because the Elgin system's not going to change. So you're really just changing your calculations on the reserve. So yeah, down the road, and again, there's no way they're going to go with a traditional pipe and stone when a Mantis system, not the Mantis, but the Elgin system is certainly going to be more cost effective. So,
And besides that, if we're making him put the sand in that he would have to, other than for the wall, it means we're going to put another foot of sand in there right now. So for sure, doing it the way Neil is saying, using the whole thing, hoping we get some good holes.
right.
That's what you'd like to do.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, so we're going to be looking at the northeast side of this system to see what we have or
Yeah.
don't have.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, no,
All right. Have a great night.
you too, bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Neil.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Hi.
Thank you.
So Bill, when you, it's not Bob LeMaitre that's your issue, it's Neil's partner that.
Yeah, his business partner. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, not
Okay.
Bob LeMaitre. That's fine. I can vote on those.
Okay. So then the next ones as we go through will be the timesheet for Colleen. It's a normal 70 hours for the 2 weeks. Are we okay with that?
Yes.
I am, yes.
And I am too, Colleen. So
Okay,
the next one is money turnover, and that's total $975. That's $795 for permits, $30 for licenses, and $150 for fees. Are we all set with that?
Yes.
Yep, that's good. Very good.
I am too, Colleen, so that's unanimous.
okay.
The next one is bills payable, and there's $25.80 for steri strips. Now, Colleen, what is that one for?
It's the medical waste services. I don't understand. Somehow we had a credit, so it only ended up being the 25, but it was actually for a pickup of the sharps from Center Pharmacy. So,
Okay,
We didn't have a pickup.
let's see when that was. Site, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's for like this budget plan annually. It's for this year.
and what
Okay,
is,
there's a
It
base
says
fee then.
July 2022 to June 2023.
so this is a fee for service that's going to happen.
Very safe economy annually, yes.
So, a quick question, please. If I'm taken off the list and I physically bring the sharps box when it gets full to the fire department, does that benefit the town financially?
I don't know. All I have here is just this one. The fire department, because they go by the weight, it looks like, price, total, and this budget plan annually. And that's something I'd have to look into. I'm not sure if it's just by the weight of how many different containers or.
Can
I
you,
mean, it may
So-
be-
No, I'm
it
just
may be
curious.
the-
No,
go ahead,
excuse me.
Bill.
No. So the biggest user of the sharp recycling is the EMT group?
Yes.
Only because that's where people drop them off.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, I see. So it's homeowners, it's residents that have syringes and insulin needles and that sort of thing. And they bring them down to the fire department or the pharmacy to get rid of them. I gotcha. I see how that works.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this whole process. I'm just curious. Okay.
So the question is, Colleen, before we act on this, and I guess we're going to have to carry it to the next meeting, is for you
Okay.
to find out, Lee is saying, does it save the town money if he just gets off of the drop-off points? If the pharmacy is no longer a drop-off point, only the fire department, do we save money?
Okay, I'll call Stericycle and find out
Yeah.
how that works.
And of course, if the answer is no, it's probably more convenient for folks to drop them off at Lee's.
Right, if they're going in, probably half of those people get their medicine from Lee's anyways.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why, yeah. So we'll have to think about that carefully. Even if it's going to cost the townspeople a few extra dollars, I think the added benefit of having folks go to Lee's Pharmacy to drop these things off might be well worth a few extra dollars.
I think so too. I think what we do is get the answer first.
Yeah,
If it saves the town $5,000 a year, it's probably worth saving the money. But if it saves the town nothing or to $100 or something, then
that's
it's
right.
a big change in convenience. So
That's right. Exactly.
So Colleen will not act on
Okay.
that until we get your answer.
Okay.
Very
Hello,
good.
board.
Hey,
Bob Sheehan
Bobby.
is on the line. How's everyone?
Good,
Very
how are
well,
you,
Bobby.
Bob? So
Good, thank you.
we're just getting to the well permit for Henshaw Drilling for Lot 1 Maximilian Drive. We did approve your septic system design. What I did bring up is with the fact that the application for the well that was submitted does not have the same dimensions for the well as the septic system that we just approved. And
Yeah.
the question that I asked Bill and Lee is, would the board entertain having Colleen sign off on that well permit if a new well permit was submitted with your septic system design that was just approved that has the well location on it?
Okay, how about if the existing permit, the single 8.5 by 11, which has the well driller's signature on it, is left intact. However, strike the old drawing of the location of the well and add a copy of the septic system design that you've approved this evening. Would that be okay?
Well, now we're in a spot that the guy with the stamp is provided us a drawing, and it's an application with his signature, and we're going to approve something that's not what he asked for. And I have a
Well,
problem with it.
I unfortunately I don't understand, but I guess all that would be changing would be the copy of the sketch / drawing showing the well placement as it refers to on the septic design.
Dick, the septic design shows the well to be 51 feet from an iron pin and 141 feet from another iron pin. So it's locating it with respect to a couple of sideline pins.
That is correct.
Right. And then it shows the radius to kind of bisect the house through the long part of the house. And again, your septic plan, Bob, of course, I'm sure you have a note not to scale the drawing, but even if you scale it, let me grab I don't know if I have a ruler handy, but how many feet is it scaled from your proposed well to the septic tank on the design, on the septic plan?
135 feet.
Okay, and then this sketch that Henshaw provided, where is that from?
That's from Alan Katowitz. Actually, Alan Katowitz provided that.
I think that's from Steve Ribberty. I think that's from his wetland permit plan. That looks familiar. So that must be the wetland permit plan from Steve Ribberty. And Alan drew a box on it, and he's got a couple of offsets. So that one suggests
Correct.
140 feet. Yours suggests it's 135. Yeah,
Right.
I wish that these two plans were integrated. That's the point, Dick. The two plans should be integrated. You see what I mean?
Right. That's the point that you're.
Yeah.
And if it's Alan, I don't know how to handle it. If Henshaw, if someone just scanned Bobby's design and sent it to Henshaw, and the guy just initialed it, and it got stapled to the application, then it would all be Henshaw. This doesn't have to take very long. This only has to take, an hour or something, and it could get done, and it stays then under Henshaw's responsibility. But we just had a well that had to get redone because of this kind of stuff that and then someone says, well, he said it, and then someone else says, another guy said it.
Right.
And
So let me ask this to make it maybe simpler. If Alan Katowitz was to fill out a new well permit application accompanied with a copy of the approved septic system design to Mr. Henshaw, and Mr. Henshaw is to sign the new well application permit, that would suffice the board, and Colleen could sign upon submittal of that paperwork?
I would be fine with that.
That's right. That makes good sense. And that would be fairly simple. So substitute out Alan's sketch and put in Bobby's sketch with the well shown as approved. That's a simple way to do it.
And Henshaw signs off on it, and and we're done. Lee, what do you think of that?
Yeah, that cleans it up so that,
Everybody's got the same record then.
do their own jobs and just call it good. I'm sure Alan is, trying to save a bit of time. I get that. But we got to leave everyone to their own little calling and keep it that way.
Okay, I will inform Alan of that. And the ball will be in his court at that point.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I mean, we can be there to site this well in, obviously in 10 minutes.
Right.
So we're not going to hold them up at all if Henshaw is in the vicinity or coming into town or wherever. No 3-4 week delay here.
Yeah. Only thing,
Okay.
Lee, Dick and Lee, when you guys go out there, the only thing that's concerning to me is there's a series of iron pins along that property line. There's a corner pin. There's 3 other pins shown. There might be other pins. And it shows a 51 foot offset from a pin and 141 off of another. If a mistake is made and you take the 3rd pin and you're actually taking the sight off the 2nd pin, you're going to be in trouble. So you better make sure that this is done properly. You see what I'm saying, Dick?
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I see it.
Right.
If you use the
The
wrong
first
reference, you're in trouble.
Oh, yes. That's the concern about having a bunch of pins in a line like that. That's kind of scary to me.
Right.
So,
Well, I guess though, what you would do is you'd start at the corner pin, as you had referred to.
Yeah.
Measure in 200 feet to the 2nd line pin, pull your 141, and then another 100 feet to the next pin and 51, and triangulate that way.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. So you're going to have to locate the corner pin before you begin the process. You cannot automatically jump to the pin that you think is the appropriate reference pin. So it's going to take you a little extra time to do it that way.
Right.
But I think,
Okay, I will pass that word along to Alan.
okay, very good. Okay.
So Colleen, we voted to allow you to, once those things are done, we're allowing you to sign off on it.
Okay.
The next one I have is a well permit for Cushing and Son. Yep.
I'm sorry, board members, how about 192 Bachelor Street?
We allowed that. What we didn't do, Lee and Bill, is we didn't have a separate vote to allow the reduction in our are loading from 660 down to 648. Are we allowing that? We said we were going to, but we didn't
Yes.
actually move on. Bill, are you all set with
Yeah.
that?
Oh, yeah, I second that. Yeah, no
Yeah,
problem.
and I am too, Colleen,
Yeah.
so that's set. So Bob,
Yeah.
you're all
Okay.
set with that.
Okay, thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thanks,
Okay.
Bob. Good to see you. Thank you.
The
Yeah,
next,
bye-bye.
okay, the next one is a well permit for Cushing and Son at 278 Amherst Street. Lot 1, that one, that's right next, one of the lots next to Aldrich Lake, between Aldrich Lake and Bachelor Street on Amherst Street. And that one is, the well is put in, the septic design was approved. And actually it was approved at 8/15/2020. That's a nice system. That whole area was done in a coordinated way. I have no problems with that well location. It's right where the design calls it.
Okay, Dick, one quick question. So this is lot 1 and lot 2. Is leach field in place yet or not?
I don't know that it is, but those were all laid out together.
Okay, and Sherman and Frederick was involved there. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Is lot 2 the house that Strum Construction put up?
I believe so.
Yeah, long as all those wells and septics are coordinated properly, you don't want to get blindsided on any of those.
No, in fact, they had to
Yeah.
move stuff around. They're two different engineers. And
Oh,
the
okay.
engineers had to work together to make sure each one of them moved their stuff around and it came out in a coordinated way.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Okay.
Is Bob Stover's involved? Is that Bob Stover's name? Let me look. I gotta zoom in.
I think one of them was,
Oh, yeah, Bob Stover. Yeah, Bob Stover's involved. Okay. And the other one is Sherman and Frederick. That's Don and Frederick. Okay. Yeah, as long as those guys were in communication with each other, that should be fine.
they were.
So
Okay.
that being said, so lot 2, we have, in my understanding, that lot 2 has an as-built, which is a little different than what was originally proposed.
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not too, because again, then you could encroach on that well radius.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure that out before getting into a mess.
Yeah.
Maybe
We
what
just-
you
all right.
ought to do, Lee, is we can
Yeah.
approve this, but they've got to go out and measure to the corners of the leach, the SAS in the tank to make sure that it hasn't, on this lot, they'll be safe because we're going from the SAS on lot 1. But Bill is right. If they put the system in a different place on lot 2, that's a big problem because it had to be coordinated.
All
So
right, so that
from
being
your
said,
standpoint, Lee, they should have to measure that for you.
Okay, so is that Sherman and Frederick on this one or Bob Stover?
I think Bob Stover is lot 1 and Sherman and Frederick is lot 2.
So Bob Stover,
Okay.
who is asking for this well permit, should be the person
Yep.
that has to stake it out. Because you are gonna say,
Okay.
I won't allow that location until you prove to me it's okay.
Actually, if you look at that, you're right. Dick, again, just eyeballing the scaling, you're within a couple of feet of the lot 2 leach field scaled, and you're within a couple of feet of the septic tank and the D box and the leach field for lot 1. So this has to be very precisely placed.
Right.
And it
All right,
appears
so
to be
Bob's
so.
over.
Yeah, so you got a
So
swing
Bob's
arc.
over half
One's
the-
138-foot arc and a 220-something foot arc. So you got to be careful on this one.
Yeah,
All right, so
especially
we're gonna
if,
have to obviously be on site for this.
Oh, yeah.
Bob, at the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
else tell them before you go out there, have them put the stake where it's supposed to be and let him have the measurements before you get there. You don't have to be the person.
Well, I appreciate that. I have no problem, holding the tape and satisfying my own desire for knowing that we're putting it where it really belongs and not guesstimating
Yeah,
when I show up. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, all good.
Very good.
But as you point out, the guy that was doing the work for Sherman and Fredericks isn't there anymore. That was Keith Perry.
Mhm.
And
So-
I don't know where he is, but he's not there.
Okay.
Okay, the next one is I'm trying to see. Colleen, this one is, I jumped over it. That's
Yeah, the 8
Connecticut
Carver.
Valley Artesian Well, 8 Carver Street. That's interesting. The guy that answered the questions kind of said, we're putting one of the questions is, why are you putting a new well? And I guess someone can put in a well if they want. He just said there's not enough pressure. And
Well, again, given the drought, maybe some wells are going to start to go dry in town.
maybe, but then he said, hey, I'm putting that well because it's good enough for code, and it's better for me for entering the house, and I'm going to put it closer to the tank. And where Colleen said, what conditions the tank? And the guy says, well, it's been pumped a couple times and no one's told him it's a bad tank. And then his final thing is when we said, where are all the other, septic systems compared to this well? And he says, hey, I did the best I can do. That's what it is this. And
What the heck does that mean?
yeah, that's what I think too. Doing the best you can do isn't the best
good
that
enough.
was easy to do.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is
Well-
someone's going to have to do a site visit and poke around there.
Yeah, he needs to let him hire a septic guy or a whatever that,
Right.
but my feeling is you can't approve this without knowing where these septic systems are. You could have a septic system within 50 feet of this thing.
That's correct. Yep.
All right, so Colleen, are you going to be charged with contacting whoever it is at Connecticut Valley and let them know that 8 Carver Street is not to be installed until we have some proof operations over there, the neighbors?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, we
I'll
went to
let-
get it so it fits the code requirements for septic system. Tell the guy he's got to know the location of septic systems and within 150 feet of this well.
Yep.
Including his own.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Gonna be a lengthy one. That's okay.
So who knows? Maybe the whole thing is all the guy needed was a new pump, but that's not up to us to determine.
That's the first thing that came to my mind when you said lack of pressure. 100 horsepower pump, which has been in the ground for the last 15 years, and upgrade to a 3/4 horse and the problem, but whatever.
Yeah, but that's not our job. You know, someone can come in and say they want to put a well in, and we just have to make sure that the well fits, not whether they need it or not.
Right.
We've got 3 Title Fives. 24 Bags Hill Road, Greg Everson passes. 96 Rear Bachelor Street, Dave Kivy passes. 94 Bachelor Street, Dave Kibbe conditionally passes. Should we be accepting those or receiving those, Lee?
Yes, I believe the 94 Bachelor Street is going to be a little bit of an ongoing headache. There appears to be what they thought was some type of a storage or tool shed, which may in fact be a oversized well house. And it appears that there's an apartment back there, you know, maybe like an 18 by 20 or 24-foot apartment. One door going in and out, no current code for that. It's illegal. Septic and well, those, I think it was probably a camp at one point in time. And they're going to have to work out whether or not they're going to ever rent that again with the blessing of the building inspector and fire department. And that being said, there's going to have to be some movement on septics and wells to paint it all in. A little messy.
But it does say it, well, it says conditionally passes.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for the language of the condition. I can't find it.
I think what happened was that there was a house right on Bachelor Street, and it possibly was an Alan Weiss design, maybe 3-4 years ago. And apparently that well house was missed in the process, which may, at this point in time, not meet separation code.
Oh boy,
And
that's not good.
no, it's going to be a little messy.
Yeah. Yeah, he
I
checks,
don't know.
system conditionally passes, he checks it. So he says one or more system components needs to be replaced or repaired. And then you scroll down and he doesn't follow up with any answer.
No.
So actually, he probably should have checked, needs to be evaluated by the Board of Health. He should have probably checked that one.
So you could inform them that we voted not to receive this because it's not complete.
That's right.
Yeah, we should talk this one through at some future point, figure out what's going on. He may not be in the position to know what they're planning and doing with that particular piece of property. But we just can't leave it in limbo.
Well, we can say we're not going to receive this one because it's not complete. He said something needs to be replaced and doesn't tell anybody.
Yeah, we can't guess that.
So you wanna receive the first 2 and then not receive the third one and inform Dave Kibbe that we voted not to receive it because it's incomplete?
Okay.
Is that what we want to do, Bill and Lee?
So that's 94. So 94 Bachelor is not complete, correct?
Yeah, and so we're not going to receive it.
Okay.
Now, the only, and I don't want to get mixed up on this thing, and I hope I'm not, but his partner, Jason LaFleur, did install a new distribution box beginning of the summer. Colleen, and I don't know what address that was, but it was in that neighborhood.
But the point is, it's his job to tell us what needs to be replaced. And he didn't.
Well, exactly. Right, and you know, I'm just trying to backpedal here because I can't remember.
Yeah, I think there was, they did do a D-box, or they had the permit for that. For that one, I think. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I'm not sure which, with the way the numbers run, rear or front, which one was the problem. But again, your
Okay.
point is valid, that the paperwork should have been filled out in such a way to give us a hint of what's going on here.
Right. So we just say
Yep.
it's not complete. It doesn't tell us what needs to be done. So we would receive the first two and not receive the third. So we would not receive 94 Bachelor Street.
94, right.
Is that what
Okay.
the three of us are saying?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
And I am the same
Yes.
with me, Colleen.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you jumped over the COC for 57 North Street.
Okay. Let me see.
See that.
Mine,
I think Lee had signed that one.
I don't,
Oh, that was the new distribution box. Neil Jackson installed it.
okay, I guess I don't see that on my
I don't
agenda.
either. I don't have that either.
Yeah, it's actually in an email. It's in one of the emails.
I did add it today.
Yeah, I've got it here somewhere. Hold on. I just
So
had
what-
it a minute ago.
What is the item?
Here it is.
The COC for 57 North.
Yes, yeah, here it is.
It was in the email today, Dick.
Okay. And that's the one, that's a D box?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, Neil Jackson installed
put
that.
it in.
Yes.
Are we okay with that, Lee?
Yeah, it was put in correct. Yes.
Bill, are you okay with that?
Yep. Yes.
Me too, Colleen.
Okay.
Now I'm going to try to move through this. I've got a lot of commotion behind me on the two birthday parties that are starting to occur outside my room. I didn't do anything on the either of those first two. This past 2 weeks has been crazy for me. The Dollar General 4-bay, Bill, you met and you also submitted just a draft Gantt chart.
Yeah, a Gantt chart, a timeline. I met with Tyler, real nice guy. Mr. Briggs was with me. So it was me, Greg Briggs, and Tyler Avery. We walked the site for probably 45 minutes. He's got an engineering staff in-house at Apex that's going to deal with this. They're not going back to the original designer. They're not going back to Boulder Engineering. And he kind of informed me that this is not uncommon for some of these Dollar General sites. So I thought that was kind of an eye-opener. But he discussed briefly some potential game plans. But I think the first thing, if you look at my Gantt chart, is to identify the problem. So once we get Tyler on board and he agrees in concept to this timeline and Gantt chart, hopefully he can start coming up with a definitive remedial operation that are to be considered, and we'll work together with them to get this thing approved. And if he has to go through conservation, that's fine too.
I would guess there wasn't much water flowing out of that soil drain.
Zero. But there's plenty of water in the forebay.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of critters bouncing around on the surface. Yes.
So question, Bill, for the board as a whole, even though it's early in the game, are we CCing everything that we do through town council in the event that in 9 months from now, we don't have a happy ending to this?
That might actually make some sense, Dick. Do you think?
Yeah, I think what let me give him a call when I get back, and just let him know what we're doing, and then I'll tell him we're going to send him a copy of what goes on. I would expect that we're going to get something from Tyler, going to say, whoa, I don't want it. This doesn't fit. I'm going to guess he's going to give us another iteration on that. But I'll let Brian O'Toole know this is what we're trying to do, because Brian did ask me to do it this way. So I'll call him when I get back.
Okay. Colleen, when did you forward this chart to Tyler? Within the last week?
Yeah, you sent it to me, I don't know, probably maybe the day you sent it to me. I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. So you sent it to him quickly. Okay. Because I was thinking we could look at it as a board before sending it out. But if you've already sent it to him, that's fine.
But I'm not even sure. I can't recall now whether I did or not. I'll have to look when I get to the office tomorrow, and I'll let you know. I think I just sent it because you asked me to send it to the board, so I don't think I did.
Okay. So Dick, shall she send the draft to Tyler and Apex?
I would do that. Is that what you think, Lee, too? Tyler expects that to be happening, so we should do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd
Send
be
it to
great.
him.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay.
The next thing that we've got is COVID. There was a new CDC policy statement on COVID, and it essentially is saying COVID's with us, and you don't have to keep 6 feet anymore, and it just loosens stuff up. I think the biggest thing was on what happens if you're exposed, if you're a close contact, and it said it doesn't matter whether you've been vaccinated or not. And if you're a close contact, you're supposed to wear a mask indoors for 5 days. And if you don't get it, wear it for another 5 days. And if you get it, then you're supposed to move into the quarantine, move into that.
You know, the curious thing is, I think that all of us, when I go to any public place, I have a mask on. So everyone must assume I have COVID, which is okay with me too.
I guess that's right.
Yeah, they stay away.
I guess that's right.
Yep.
So I know there aren't many people that wear masks. I'll tell you that. I'm one of the few. So, in fact, we went to go shopping at the Stop and Shop in Provincetown today, and this week is Provincetown Carnival.
Oh boy.
And we went there, and we were coming off the beach, and you couldn't even find a parking space in the parking lot.
Wow.
My wife and I both said the same thing, that must be a COVID pit in there, where that's not or monkey pit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
But one way or the other. Then the other thing that it's not COVID, but it is monkeypox. They're not talking very much right now about it, but the vaccine is going to the gay the gay areas. But the last thing that I heard was that 95% of the cases of monkeypox are coming from black males who have had sex with other males. And that it's the government is purposely saying, we don't want to cross over that. We don't want to call this a sexually transmitted disease. We don't want to call it that it's tied up with black people, and we don't want to tie up with homosexuals. And they're really staying away from that. And I'm not sure whether they're doing that because they're hoping that people everybody stays afraid of it and doesn't let it end up spreading to the general public. Not sure, but they're definitely the places that are getting the vaccines are definitely into the areas that are known to have, you know, a pretty big gay community.
Now, Lee, is it the smallpox vaccine they're using?
I went on the World Health Organization and I didn't find the answer to that.
So the question is there sufficient vaccine for the general population in the United States? That's the question.
Not. That's for sure. There's not.
Oh.
The other thing that I haven't heard is for us old people who were vaccinated for smallpox, do we in fact carry an immunity to it? I don't know that. And I haven't heard a single thing on the media.
Now, we would be vaccinated for smallpox when we were in grade school, right, Dick?
Yeah.
So I don't remember I can't remember that myself.
So maybe you weren't. Maybe if you were, you'll have a round circle about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, high on your left arm, maybe 3 or 4 inches down from your shoulder.
Yeah, actually, I do have that.
Okay.
I do have that.
So, so you've had it.
So that's probably again.
I don't know if it supposedly it's the same vaccine, and it's a permanent protection for smallpox, but I don't know that it protects for monkeypox. So
because I started, well, of course, I was born in 1957, so I started first grade in probably 63.
Something like that, 62, 63.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. And they're just not saying anything about it.
Yeah, I'm very mute. The media has been very, very mute. And I find that to be odd. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do have another letter, and it came from Martin La Liberty. We just got a copy of it, but the letter asks that we just go to the building inspector and tell him, please just issue the building permit for lot 6 Cold Hill. And we'll worry about solving the septic system later. And I personally have a problem, I guess, that I guess a builder can ask anything he wants.
Well, that puts us in a compromised position, Dick, because clearly for one reason or another, if we find that there's something wrong out there and they can't build the house and the guy's already spent $500,000 on the house, then we're the bad guy.
Yeah, and at this point, we told the real estate agent that was selling it that the system has something wrong. We were at the Neil Jackson was after me saying, hey, that's not, the having a full tank and a full D-box isn't really what happened. And Laurie McCool says it's not what happened. And I said, Neil, no one has anything written down other than the Board of Health. And the Board of Health talked about this a long time. And we talked about the difference between a septic tank and a D-box having water in them to the invert versus filled right up. And we were dealing with, it was filled right up. And we said, that is not a good thing. It's written down. We told people about it. And now all of a sudden, after we said this isn't suitable, we got a builder saying, hey, it doesn't matter. Let's build it anyways. And from my standpoint, it's pretty simple. Hire an engineer. If you want to use this thing, find out. And I told Neil the same thing. Find out why that tank and the D-box were filled and make the thing either correct it, but find it out. And as an engineer with a stamp the thing and say, this is what it is. And if you can't do it, reperk the thing and start all over again. Oh,
Well, the agreement we had way back, Laurie McCool, Neil DeMary, and whoever they
I don't know if,
Oh, I think we lost Lee.
yeah.
Dick, is Neil Jackson now an installer and a designer?
Well, now I don't know what we have. He's an installer for D-boxes only.
I gotcha. Okay.
And that's all he asked for. That's all we gave him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess if you're talking about somebody that's trying to analyze a septic system failure like that,
Mhm.
engineering kind of failure, doing an investigation, someone needs to have a stamp
Mhm.
to be doing this. But I guess as I said to Neil, you don't know did someone drive over this thing and crack all the pipes in the leach field? Did someone pour something down there and seal the whole, interface between the stone and the sand? Who knows what happened? But someone's got to say, if you're going to propose to use that, you know what it is, and you better stamp it, and you own it. When it
Right.
doesn't work,
That's
then
right.
someone's going to come in after you and say, you're the one with the stamp that says this will work.
Mhm. Yeah, you want a single source of responsibility, and that's the way you do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. The seller was supposed to resolve this prior to this changing hands, but he never did.
Yeah. And we don't know that. Actually, maybe the seller told the buyer this isn't going to be able to be used. I don't know. I'm hearing a bonging kind of.
Yeah, I think Lee's got. It sounded like he was on a two-way radio
Yeah.
on his last
Oh,
transmission.
I'm
You there?
I'm here.
You there,
I'm
Lee?
here.
Okay. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But you don't have any idea whether the new owner said, you know what, I'm going to take this thing as is, and then I'm going to put all sorts of pressure on the Board of Health to let me use this, regardless of the fact that they told us that it's no good the way it is.
Right.
We don't know that.
Right. Yeah, what could happen is they'd build the house with the defective or the questionable system in place, hook the questionable system up, run a pipe from the house to the tank, start using it, and then we start trying to resolve the issue. In the meantime, the folks are living in their house.
Yeah. Or what if you end up that it really was a bad call on the water table and this thing's got to come up 5 feet or 6 feet and you got this house that's built and now you've got to raise the land 5 or 6 feet with a pump and ruin the backyard or front yard.
Well, that's right. That's right. You may end up having to put in retaining walls. It could end up being a $50,000 repair.
Yeah,
That's right.
And then devalues the house by 200,000.
Right. Yeah.
So-
That's why let's nip this one in the bud. That makes
Yeah.
the most sense. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway.
So Mr. Laliberty comes back to the office. I tell him that he or the owner has to hire an engineer and figure out what's there.
No, they have to find out. We issued a statement that says the system can't be used on a
Can't be
new
used.
house because the septic tank and the distribution box were filled with water. And
Right.
at a minimum, an engineer has to do an investigation and give a stamped report saying this is why this system behaved like that, and here's what needs to be done. If indeed it can be reused, here's what needs to be done to allow it to be reused. And if it, or they could start and the whole perk process over again and deal with a system redesign and an out of season perk.
Yep. Okay.
But Mr. LaLiberty just said, hey, just let the building inspector issue a permit and away we go. And that's not what's going to happen.
Yeah, that was kind of a bold statement on Martin's behalf,
Yeah,
to say the least.
yeah. So anyways, are we done for tonight?
I think so, Dick. Did we cover all the agenda? Let's just check our agenda real quick.
Yeah, we did.
We did. We're good. Everything's good.
Looks good.
The only thing is the adopting regulations. We'll do that when we have more time. And then the DEP, the watershed survey, Colleen, any movement on that? Or
I was supposed to do something and I just have been straight out for 2 weeks.
okay, no worries. No worries.
Paul, not Paul Hogan, but his associate, Kitty, I think her name is. She did call and I said, that you guys were working on it. So
When I get back, I will do that.
Fair enough. Okay, folks.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Good night. Okay, thank you all. Okay, all the best. Bye.
All right, folks.